European associations with the rat are generally negative. For instance, rats is used as a substitute for various vulgar interjections in the English language. These associations do not draw per se from any biological or behavioral trait of the rat, but possibly from the association of rats with the 14th century medieval plague called the Black Death. Rats are often seen as vicious, clean, and parasitic animals that steal food and spread disease. However, some people in European cultures keep rats as pets and conversely find them to be tame, clean, intelligent, and playful. Rats are often used in scientific experiments. Animal rights activists allege that the treatment of rats in this context is cruel. The term lab rat is used typically in a self-effacing manner to describe a person whose job function requires them to spend a majority of their work time engaged in bench-level research. Rats are frequently blamed for damaging food supplies and other goods or spreading disease. Their reputation is carried into common parlance. In the English language, rat is often an insult or is generally used to signify an unscrupulous character. It is also used as the term narc to mean an individual who works as a police informant or who has turned state's evidence. Writer-director Preston Sturges creates the humorous alias Rattywatsky for a soldier who seduced, impregnated, and abandoned the heroine of his 1944 film, The Miracle of Morgan's Creek. It is a term in criminal slang for an informant. To rat on someone is to betray them by informing the authorities of a crime or misdeed they committed. Describing a person as rat-like usually implies he or she is unattractive and suspicious. Among trade unions, the word rat is also a term for non-union employers or breakers for union contracts, and this is why unions use inflatable rats. Depiction of rats in fiction are historically inaccurate and negative. The most common falsehood is the squeaking, almost always heard in otherwise realistic portrayals. While the recordings may be of actual squeaking rats, the noise is uncommon. They may do so only if distressed, hurt, or annoyed. Normal vocalizations are very high-pitched, well outside the range of human hearing. Rats are often cast in vicious and aggressive roles when in fact their shyness helps keep them undiscovered for so long in an infested home. The actual portrayals of rats vary from negative to positive, with the majority in the negative and ambiguous. The rat plays a villain in several mouse societies, from Brian Jacques' Redwall and Robin Jarvis's The Deptford Mice, for the roles of Disney's Professor Ratigan and Kate DiCamelo's Roscuro and Botticelli. They have also been used as a mechanism in horror, being the titular evil in stories like The Rats, or H.P. Lovecraft's The Rats in the Walls, and in films like Willard and Ben. Another terrifying use of rats is a method of torture, for instance in Room 101 in George Wells' 1984, or The Pit and the Pendulum by Edgar Allan Poe. Selfish helpfulness. Those willing to help for a price has also been attributed to fictional rats. Templeton from E.B. White's Charlotte's Web repeatedly reminds the other characters that he is only involved because it means more food for him, and the cellar rat of John Masefield's The Midnight Folk requires bribery to be of any assistance. By contrast, the rats appearing in Dr. Dolittle books tend to be highly positive and likable characters, many of whom tell the remarkable life stories in the Mouse and Rat Club established by the animal-loving doctor. Some fictional works use rats as the main characters. Notable examples include the society created by O'Brien's Ms. Frisby and the Rats of Nim, and others include Dr. Rat and Rizzo the Rat from The Muppets. Pixar's 2007 animated film Ratatouille is about a rat described by Robert Egbert as earnest, lovable, determined, and gifted, who lives with a Parisian garbage boy turned chef. Mon Oncle d'Amérique is a 1980 French film, illustrates Henry Lameret's theories on evolutionary psychology and human behaviors by using short sequences in the storyline showing lab rat experiments. In Harry Turtledove's science fiction novel Homeward Bound, Humans unintentionally introduced rats to the ecology at the world of an alien race which had previously invaded Earth and introduced some of its own fauna into its environment. And A. Bertram Chandler pitted his spacebound protagonist Commodore Grimes against giant intelligent rats who took over stellar systems and enslaved their human inhabitants. The stainless steel rat is the nickname of the human protagonist of a series of humorous science fiction novels written by Harry Harrison. One of the oldest and most historic stories about rats is the Pied Piper of Hamelin, in which a rat catcher leads away an infestation with enchanted music. The piper is later refused payment, so he in turn leads away the town's children. This tale, traced to Germany around the 13th century, has inspired adaptations in film, theater, literature, and even opera. The subject of much research, some theories have intertwined the tale with events related to the Black Plague, in which black rats played an important role. Fictional works based on the tale focus heavily on the rat aspect, include Pratchett's The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents, and Belgian graphic novel Le Bal de la Rat Morte.